Okay. We use communication every day to understand each other, to communicate with each other, to do every little thing, and communicating to each other is as essential as sleeping is to our survival. Sanscribio de Vipa, diversidad cultural, and doyo wenhua. These are the words cultural diversity in Hindi, Spanish, and Mandarin. And the same reaction that you guys probably just had right now is the same reaction the world has when someone is bilingual or multilingual. They're surprised and they see them as they would be able to reach out to a wider demographic. And that brings me to my topic today, which is I'm going to talk about 3 benefits of learning a new language and how that can benefit you. The first topic will be economic, and this would be talking about once you learn a new language, you can stand out from your peers, and entering the workforce, you'd be able to distinguish yourself away from the crowd, hopefully to get that new job or to pass that interview to bring you on to the next one, or actually get you the job instead of looking for a job. And especially now in the rapidly growing economy where everyone's starting to learn the language, everyone's starting to move up the bar, so you don't want to be left behind, and you want to, I guess, distinguish yourself a little more just to get that job, get that interview. And that's in an economic perspective. What also helps is the employers. They also see that bilingual, multilingual people, they can reach to a wider demographic, which helps them diversify their assets and reach out to different parts of the world. And that is very valuable considering that the global market is global. They try to reach as many people as possible as fast as possible. And that is definitely a pro in my opinion, because not everyone can find a job, and once you actually find a job, you want to keep it, and you want to make sure that you are of value to that company, so you don't get fired or laid off, I don't know, get cut hours or anything like that. Which brings me to the second benefit of learning a new language. This is more on the economic perspective. This study was done by The Economist. It shows the different languages you learn, like Spanish, French, German, you can earn a different amount depending on each one, just on average. This is in euros, so it translates a little differently, but just a little bit differently. And apparently, if you got a $40,000 like average paycheck per year, then if you saved 1% each year for 40 years, then you would make up to 50,000. For French, it's 75,000. German is 125,000. Further retirement, which everyone is usually worried about. And that is incredibly important, especially today, since taxes are going up, Social Security is going down, and you gotta pretty much worry about yourself because no one else is gonna do it for you. And that brings me to my second topic, the actual second topic of medical benefits. Learning a new language changes how you think and how you perceive things, which in effect, it kind of changes who you are. And it pretty much improves the way you can cognitively think, which is pretty much your ability to think. So in a way, it makes you smarter, and it improves your memory, so you can actually retain what you've learned instead of in one ear, out the other, which I feel like a lot of us do. And with that, you can apply it anywhere. You can apply it to your job, you can apply it to social life, you can pretty much apply it to everyday life. And with those benefits also comes that learning a new language is a preventative to Alzheimer's and dementia, that terrible disease where it deteriorates your brain. And it showed, I got this study from Nizam's Institute of Medical Sciences, where they did a study on 648 seniors, ranging on average about 66, and every single one of them was diagnosed with a form of Alzheimer's and dementia. And the study showed that the people who spoke 2 languages or more were able to prevent the disease from progressing at least 4.5 years on average. And that is incredibly good, seeing as how ravaging the disease actually is. This brings me to my third topic, which is the sociological benefits of learning a new language. The benefits in this category are that if you want to travel, which I recommend everyone does, because it's a great experience I feel everyone should do, but when you do, you can visit all these cultures, all these different countries, and feel more comfortable in that new environment, in that new space, to actually interact with one another. And even if you get lost, like going the wrong way, you can talk to the best guides you're probably ever going to find, the people who have probably been living there their entire lives. Also, people find it very good and very humbling when you try to learn their language and try to learn their culture. Wait, how much time? Actually, I think I might have enough time for this. Okay, I'm going to show you guys an example of this. The United Kingdom the United Kingdom did a survey with 100 college students that they were freshmen, and they were given a test just to figure out if they could solve it. They were given, you guys might actually know this, is a riddle where it's 1,000 bottles of wine, and one of the wines was poison, and you have within an hour to figure out which one is poison, because I don't know, you're going to throw a party. And you had 10 rats to do that, and then it took an hour for the poison to actually settle in. So they were given the problem of figuring out which bottle was poison with the 10 rats. You could feed each of them. And they obviously split them up, half bilingual, half not, like some were multilingual, and they did this study, and they were given about 5 to 6 minutes to solve it, and the way to solve it is you have to use binary. So, okay, say each circle is a rat. Okay. And each one is a placeholder. So for 1,000, it'd be 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And for 6, it'd be 1, 1, 0. So then if you feed each rat corresponding to each placeholder, 1 bottle of wine, and then it holds, then you can see which one has died at the end of the hour. And once you actually feed all of them, if you split them up by 2, the resulting answer would be it's 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. And this, in binary, would actually equal 53. And only 60% of those people actually figured out that the poison bottle was 53. And the people who did were the bilingual and multilingual people. Only about 10% of the people who did only learn one language actually figured that out, proving that they had better problem-solving abilities. And all these people had learned binary in the past within the same amount of time. And this brings me to my conclusion of learning a new language has many benefits. Now is the best time to do it. We live in an era where you can pull it out of your pocket, pull out any language you want, and learn it. And even though it might not take like a day to learn, or it'll take a lot longer, but I can promise you the benefits will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Okay, the contents of the speech are, okay, there's a structure that you are talking about. You've got advantages in different categories. Some of the sections are a little bit more developed than others when it comes to content and information. The basics of an informative speech are still here. The visual materials are integrated into speech in appropriate places. I don't know that they really add that much to the presentation. Like everything that you had on the second point really feels like it's just a wallpaper to indicate what the subject matter is. There's nothing that explains anything in that particular process. The part where you are explaining this material at the end, I think that probably would have been the thing that would have worked best to have as a visual planned ahead of time so that you could explain it a little bit more. I have no idea what you were talking about. It's like I'm sure that I think the presupposition here is that you have binary as a language and you can put the problem into a binary language and solve it a little bit quicker. As it was, I'm just going, huh? Because I'm not used to thinking that way, and I frankly missed the whole point of your exercise there at the end. And I think that there's probably a valid application to it, but it's not very clear, and because you're having to explain it while you're talking about it, it doesn't come across the way you want it to. The materials about your presentation, there's some good gestures, your facial expression is involved and fine for the most part. Your eye contact is a little inconsistent. That's kind of connected to the body movement because you have a tendency to stand sideways, like you are letting the visual go right past you, and then you talk to the visual while you're talking to us at the same time. So it's sort of like your focus is over there, and we're in the peripheral on the one side, and your visual's on the peripheral on the other side, and I don't think you're as consistent about engaging us as you want to be. Sometimes you do turn and face us, and that's good. I think that's the better part of the speech. But there are lots of times when it's like you're just talking in front of us instead of talking to us, as I've said to other people in the past that we have that. The vocal stuff I think is really solid, though. You project well. There's good variety in your voice where you're talking. Up until the point where you turn your back on us to speak, I could understand everything that you said. When you turn your back and start writing on the board, it's not quite as clear, and that's a little bit of a problem. All right. Thank you.